What's up, guys? Amanda Nybert, registered dietitian. Second, maybe third part of my new series in the new year, live Q&A with me. Every Thursday, I'm here for 30 minutes. Gonna try to keep it short and sweet, answering any and all questions that you have about health and wellness, nutrition, goals, mindset, all the things. So jump in the chat feature and ask away. We are, what is this? It is January 12th, 12 days into the new year. How are you feeling? How are your New Year's resolutions going? How's your mindset? Again, I am all about what can you accomplish if you put your mind to doing the small things consistently, not just for the next 30 days, but for the next 12 months, the next 24 months, all of those things, I hope that you guys really see that as you are rolling into the new year with your new health and wellness goals. I always say, if you feel like you're doing something that you can't authentically do in some capacity forever, then it's probably not going to work. So that's why I'm all about progress, not perfection. I'm all about teaching balance and sustainability, because that's the key, guys. I feel like there's a lot of messages in the media right now that keep us thinking that we don't have the power and control to make the change. And I'm here to tell you, you do, okay? And it doesn't have to be hard. It can be really simple. So let's get started. Okay, hello. So how do I manage menopause and weight loss? I love this question. So, it is a myth that as we age, we just have to come to the realization that we're going to gain weight and our hormones are going to change and weight loss is impossible. And it's just not true. And honestly, at the end of the day, the things that matter to us in our 40s, 50s, and 60s when it comes to health and wellness are the same things that matter to us in our 20s, 30s, 40s, and our teens, whatever it may be. So again, I always say for my older women, how's your foundation? Okay. Sleep is so important. If sleep is not at the top of your list, I would start there. Are you getting good quality sleep? Are you getting 7 hours of sleep a night? I would look at alcohol. It's a big one. Our bodies just don't process and can handle alcohol as, effectively, efficiently, and as unharmfully, is that a word? As it did when we were in our 20s. So alcohol has a huge impact on women, especially if you carry a lot of weight in your midsection. So, consider your alcohol consumption and reduce it. Protein. As we age, our protein needs increase. And I see this so much in my lean clients. The notion is that, well, I'm not as active. I don't need as much protein. Or, I'm not going to the gym. I don't need as much protein. No, your protein needs increase because your body's ability to utilize protein is reduced. So, a 20-year-old who eats 100 grams of protein utilizes 100 grams of protein. A 50, 60-year-old who eats 100 grams of protein utilizes 80 grams of protein. So you've got to eat more to get what you need. So protein optimization is key. Nutrient load, how nutrient dense are your foods? Are you eating a very colorful diet? Are you eating a lot of variety? Are you having lots of fruits and vegetables? That matters. Fiber matters. Are you getting plenty of fiber in your diet? So, and then movement, movement's key. And I love to start with daily step counts. I feel like sometimes in these calls, I'm probably going to be saying a lot of the same things over and over because I think we're all looking for that magic pill. We're all looking for that magic answer that we haven't been told. And it's not there, it doesn't exist. It is about doing kind of the small things. So that's where I would start. Sleep, alcohol, protein, fiber, whole food nutrition, and movement is really what you got to focus on. What do you think about Orange Theory workouts? So I am of the mindset that we need to be strength focused. If you're investing, 30 to 60 minutes in a workout, especially 4 to 5 days a week, then at least 2 to 3 of those need to be strength focused. Excessive cardio, especially for women, can be, cause more harm than good, in terms of cortisol levels and things like that. And again, as we age, I am all about, with my lean clients, 2 things I want to do with them. I want to build their metabolism, and I want to help regulate their blood sugar. And you've got to be focused on building your metabolism, and cardio doesn't build your metabolism. I actually posted a really good video from someone who was talking about this yesterday. And, if you do a lot of excessive cardio, which is what I think Orange Theory is, trust me, I was a member. It was the one workout that completely broke my body down. Okay. I got shin splints. I had horrible feet problem just from all the pounding and the running, because I'm super competitive. Okay. So I had to be at the top of the leaderboard. But, so in my mind, if you want to do Orange Theory once or twice a week, that's great, but you've got to emphasize the strength training. The ROI is going to be so much more in the long run when it comes to your metabolism and your body's ability to burn fat. So I have heard that they have a couple of strength classes. So absolutely grab those. Would like to know your thoughts on intermittent fasting. I love intermittent fasting. It's a strategy that I use with my lean clients, but I think a lot of people are fasting in the wrong way. So for me, the type of intermittent fasting that we use is somewhere between 12 to 16 hours. Here's the thing. Everyone should be fasting for 12 hours, from your 1-year-old to your 110-year-old, okay? It's kind of the minimum that we should be implementing on a daily basis. And honestly, it should be doable. You finish dinner at 8 p.m. and you eat your first meal at 8 a.m. But I think any fasting between 12 and 16 hours is a great place. I'm not a fan of fasting beyond 16 hours every day because of a couple of reasons. Number one, there is, the longer you fast, the more issues you can have with hormones and things like that. Also, I'm all about protein optimization, okay? You cannot optimize your protein intake when you're fasting for 18 to 20 hours. So when it comes to weight loss, I feel like that is the most important thing, is protein optimization, being in a caloric deficit. So I encourage people, think about fasting for 12 to 16 hours most days. I am a fan of extended fasting, at the most once a week. We do extended fasting once a month in the monthly membership, not for weight loss, okay? You don't fast for greater than 16 hours for weight loss. You fast for greater than, 18, 20, 24 hours for, body repair, cellular repair, autophagy. It's really great. If you have a lot of gut dysfunction, longer fasts are really good to help heal your gut. But again, you want to use them occasionally, not all the time. So I love intermittent fasting. I think it's a great strategy that can be implemented very effortlessly for everyone. Here's the deal. When we look at our meal patterns back in the 1970s, before the first set of nutritional guidelines, before someone told us 6 small meals a day, which was one of the worst advice we were ever given, these were our meal patterns. We had breakfast at 8, lunch at noon, dinner at 5:30. All right, I'm 45 years old. I remember coming home from high school asking my mom for a snack, and she'd say, no, you're going to ruin your dinner. And nowadays, it's like if we don't feed our kids every 2 hours, they're going to die. But then we sit them down to, a dinner of, chicken and broccoli, and we get mad at them because they don't eat. Well, they just had a bowl of goldfish an hour ago. So this whole kind of like 6 small meals a day, nibbling and grazing throughout the day, it's a horrible strategy. We've got to get back to, at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we got to get back to 3 solid meals a day. We got to limit snacking, because not only does nibbling and grazing not help you optimize your protein sources, it doesn't, it makes it very challenging, because snack food is most of the time not healthy. It's, high in carbs, high in sugar. So it's hard to find 6 healthy things to eat throughout the day. but also blood sugar regulation. Okay, so in our 3-meal pattern, we have a spike in our blood sugar, which is normal, guys. Okay, your blood sugar is not just flat all the time. But what we want, a healthy blood sugar response, is that it goes up and it comes down within an hour. It comes back down to baseline. So you have breakfast, it goes up and it comes back down. And then you have these periods where it's, kind of flat. That's a good thing, okay? When your blood sugar is back to baseline, there's no insulin present. And remember, insulin is the number 1 fat storing hormone in the body. So anytime insulin is being produced by the pancreas, we are storing fat. We are not burning fat. So breakfast, we have a spike and then we come back down. Lunch, we have a spike and then we come back down. Dinner, we have a spike and then we come back down. So we have these 3 small periods, 3 1-hour periods throughout the day when insulin's present. But the rest of the time, when we're fasting for 12 to 16 hours, between meals, insulin's not there. We can be burning fat. Whereas if we look at this pattern of 6 small meals a day, it's like we have, our first meal at 6, and then at 9 we eat again, and then at noon we eat again, and then at 3 we eat again, and 6 we eat again, and 9 we eat again. And so we never allow our blood sugar to recover. So we're basically in that fat storage mode all day long. So that's the power of intermittent fasting. It gives you that really long period in which insulin is not present. It allows for autophagy, which is a really powerful process where your body's able to seek out dead, damaged, dysfunctional cells and get rid of them. And again, it gives you that kind of smaller eating window. So yes, I love fasting. What's your thoughts on intermittent fasting and making sure you consume enough protein? So really quickly, protein optimization trumps fasting. And for a lot of people that they're like, what? Yeah. So, if I have a client that's trying to fast for 16 hours, but they can't hit their protein, I say fast for 14, because hitting your protein goal is more important than fasting, especially when it comes to weight loss. So fast less. Newbie to lean, loving it. Love your blood sugar call. That was an awesome call. I love that. I keep gaining weight. I feel hopeless about getting healthy and losing weight. Don't give up. Okay. Focus on the small things. Increase your activity. Increase your protein. Jackie said, just read your article on magnesium. I just started magnesium citrate. Is this an okay choice? Yes, it's an okay choice. I mean, there's lots of different forms of magnesium. I'm pretty picky about the magnesium that I recommend because I really want to get you to cell saturation, okay? You need to be ideally looking at a lab called your magnesium RBC. And that's actually going to look at your magnesium stores. We want that to be above 6. Not your serum magnesium, okay? You can't run to your lab work and see what your magnesium is because the lab that they draw typically on your yearly lab work is your serum magnesium. If that's low or close to low, then you're really depleted. So when I'm looking for a supplement, I'm looking for one that's going to bring you to cell saturation. Magnesium citrate, you're probably not going to get to cell saturation. So either finding something with a variety of different forms of magnesium or doing the transdermal soak, which can be really powerful, the remag, those are all in my the blog that you are referencing there. Okay, how much of a difference is chicken thighs than breasts? Boneless and skinless, of course, but how bad is the fat ratio between thighs and breasts? I don't know off the top of my head. I tend to stick with breasts just because they are leaner. Chicken thighs are going to have a little bit more fat, but I would say it's relatively mild. I know people like the thighs and the legs because the meat is just a little bit juicier, a little bit moist. Everybody hates that word. But yeah, mix it up. Use a variety of cuts. I mean, I use all cuts of every animal product. So you can just get on Google and, look up the macros for chicken thigh, 3 ounces of chicken thighs versus 3 ounces of chicken breast. So again, the protein is probably going to be about the same. The calories are going to be a little bit higher simply because there's more fat. Remember, 1 gram of fat has 9 calories, whereas 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carbohydrates only have 4 calories. So if you are following a calorie control, if you're working to be in a caloric deficit for weight loss and you find yourself always going over your calories, it's always fat. It's always fat. I love fat. I eat a lot of fat. You know, in my program, we don't worry so much about carbs and fats. I let my clients choose which one they prefer. Some people like to eat a lot of carbs. Some people like to eat a lot of fat. Pick. It doesn't matter, you know, because when it comes down to weight loss, it's about protein and calories. So as long as you're not consuming so much fat that puts you over your calories, you're good to go. What are your thoughts on collagen, and does it count towards your protein each day? I love collagen. I've been using collagen before collagen was a thing, probably for about, I'd say the last, 12 years. I remember I had to order it like off a special website and things like that. And I used it specifically because I was lifting heavy and I felt like my joints, like my knees were, I was having issues with that, and somebody recommended try collagen, and that's what you use collagen for, okay? Collagen is not about hitting your protein goal. It's not a complete protein source. You know, I personally do not count my collagen supplements towards my protein goal. I obviously count it towards my overall caloric goal, but I make sure that I hit my protein goal without collagen, even though I use it every single day. Now, I know that, you know, for the clients that I work with and the understanding of how much protein you actually need, it can be overwhelming. So I do allow my clients to count one serving of collagen towards their total protein intake. But in the past, I've had people, they're like, oh, this stuff is amazing. Because it's basically like flavorless. It dissolves in anything. They're like, I'll put it in my coffee. I'll put it in my water. I'll put it in my soup. I'll put it in everything. And they're consuming, you know, tons of grams of protein from collagen, and it's just not the same. So I have a great blog on that if you want to check out my website for that. Have you ever used the Streaks app to track your habits? I have not, Jill, but my team, a bunch of ladies on my team, we talked about that at our last retreat, and they started, I guess you can like compete with friends and stuff, and they started using it, and they love it. So I need to check it out. The Streaks app. Yeah, maybe we'll do like a little challenge within my community for sure. Nicole says, I keep gaining weight. What's the best way to lose weight in my 50s? Check out the first part of my call. You know, again, guys, I'm going to try to keep it real simple for you. It's sleep, it's extra steps, it's optimizing protein, it's whole food nutrition, it's more fiber, it's less alcohol, managing your stress. I had a gal on my office hours call this week, and she went to the doctor and her blood pressure was elevated, kind of like for the first time. And her doctor's like, oh, I'm going to put you on a blood pressure medicine. And she was like, listen, I've been under kind of, you know, I feel like I've been under a lot more stress. Let me try meditation, you know, for the next 2 to 4 weeks, and let me see if I can get it under control. And by golly, she did. She started meditating 5 to 10 minutes a day and lowered her blood pressure. Again, sometimes I feel like as a society, we're just like, what pill do I take, you know, to solve my problem? When in reality, it's the lifestyle that we're living that is contributing to all of our health issues, period. I mean, it is what it is, guys. So focus on the small things for sure. What's your favorite flavor of Ultima electrolytes? Sick of grape. Well, Kelly, grape is my favorite, but I will say I'm obsessed with the passion fruit. Okay, so passion fruit has now taken over the grape for me. So if you haven't tried the passion fruit, absolutely get that one. I love it. All the products that I'm talking about, you know, any like the magnesium and the electrolytes, they're all linked in my bio in my Amazon kit. So after the call, go to my bio, link it in my Amazon. You know what I'd love for you guys to do right now? Hit that share button, share this directly to your stories right now so people can jump on and watch this live, because we've got, about 15 minutes left. I want to understand the different protein powders that are out there. Well, I guess like, what's your question? I mean, there's generally like 2 types of protein powders. There's animal protein powders, you know, whey protein, and then there's plant-based protein powders, soy, hemp, what else is there? Pea powder, things like that. It kind of just depends on what your needs are. You know, for me, I'm, you know, looking for a product that is as simple as possible. I want something that's low in sugar, high in protein. You know, if I'm drinking a protein shake, I'm going to make sure it has about 30 grams of protein in it. I want it to taste good. You know, there's a lot of like healthy shakes out there that I say taste like dirt. Well, I ain't going to drink that. So I think, there's a lot of great options to kind of choose from. Maybe let me know more of your specific question. Let's see. Oh, people are saying cherry pomegranate, Ultima, orange Ultima is really good. I like hitting the gritty to get my exercise. Hey, Davis, whatever works, gritty it out for sure. Actually, dancing is a really great form of exercise. So someone mentioned my blood sugar call that I did with my lean clients. And let me give you a little blood sugar hack. And here's the thing, guys. As we get older, we become more insulin resistant. So our blood sugars start to kind of creep up. And so blood sugar management needs to be something that we're all really focused on. And I'll give you a tip. After you eat a meal, do the gritty for about 10 minutes, okay? Or just dance it out. Jumping jacks, walking, squatting, all of that movement. My daughter just did a full science project on the power of movement, apple cider vinegar, and a high fiber, high protein, high fat meal before eating a donut. And they all had improvements. The control was 27. The average change for movement in the apple cider vinegar, we dropped it down to 17. The high fiber, high protein, high fat meal dropped it down to 8. So there's little things that you can do. These are the things that I teach you in Lean that, again, it's not necessarily about what you ate. It's the actions in which you take that can improve your blood sugar response. So gritty it out. Someone else said orange is my favorite. I tried them all. I have not tried the orange. I'm going to have to try the orange. You said protein is most important. I have a question about cottage cheese. Great protein in it. And I find that when I don't get hungry, yet it has dairy. Thoughts. I love cottage cheese. I love yogurt. I think when you're starting your health and wellness journey, we want to keep it simple. Okay. And that's what I teach my clients. There are no foods off the table. Okay. Cottage cheese and Greek yogurt are two fabulous sources of protein. They're delicious. They're light. They're easy. Throw some fruit on it, even better. Now you're getting all that color, those antioxidants, those phytochemicals, all that fiber. Berries are loaded with fiber. So that's a great way to get your fiber in. Now, as you start to get better about getting your protein in, and or if you notice that you eat, maybe you add cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. Maybe you add more dairy throughout the day, and you start to have what I call symptoms of inflammation, whether it be bloating, constipation, eczema, psoriasis, things like that. Then it could be a sign that your gut is not in the place to tolerate dairy. So when we talk about the 5 top allergen foods, the foods that are going to potentially create the most inflammation in the body, we start with sugar and alcohol. So those are easy, okay? I mean, they're not easy, but nobody has to have sugar and alcohol. And I'm not talking about like fruit. I'm talking about processed sugar, which is enemy number 1. So those are going to create a lot of inflammation in your body. The next ones are gluten and dairy, okay? Again, if you're someone with an autoimmune disease, if you're someone with Hashimoto's, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, things like that, then you may want to, omit dairy a little bit more than someone who doesn't have those issues. So I love dairy. I eat it every day. It's a great way to get your protein in. I wake up in the middle of the night 1 to 2 times. Why? I don't know why. We can talk about some issues that may be causing that. Number 1, if you wake up in the middle, say you wake up in the middle of the night, you go to because you have to go to the bathroom, and then you get back in bed and you go back to sleep. You're good, okay? That's fine. It's the people that wake up and can't go back to sleep that is going to mean that your sleep is going to be impacted. So that's something to think about. I mean, people get really kind of worked up about the fact that they do wake up multiple times, but if you wake up and go back to sleep, don't worry about it. Now, one reason why you may wake up in the middle of the night is because your melatonin runs out. All right. So again, melatonin is very much set by the sun. All right. So one of the best things that you can do to set yourself up for good sleep for the night to come, so like tonight, would be in the morning, expose yourself to natural sunlight, okay? It doesn't, if it's cloudy, who cares? Because, I mean, it's going to be cloudy and rainy for the next 3 months here in Kentucky. But just getting out, facing the sun, like don't stare directly into the sun, but, being in that sunlight for even just 5 to 10 minutes can help reset your melatonin for the night to come. The other issue, which I actually learned this from Emily, our sleep expert that comes into Lean, she'll actually be back in the monthly membership in September. We do a whole month on sleep health. And actually last year was the first year we did it, and it was amazing, is that your melatonin runs out. And that happens with people that are night owls, people that stay up too late when we should be going to bed a little bit earlier. And, by the time you get to sleep, then, your melatonin is kind of run out and it's kind of making you kind of wake up. You have to be careful with just popping melatonin. It's not always the answer. I would say if you are going to use a melatonin supplement, start with the lowest dose possible for sure. But definitely continue to work on your sleep. Cherry pomegranate, lots of people talking about the Ultima. I love that. I like to do the naughty bopper exercise. I feel like, actually, you know what this is? These are Molly Hunter's friends jumping on my live, putting in their 2 cents. But that's okay. I'm here to teach everybody. Molly Hunter is my 14-year-old daughter. Without buying a sleep tracker, how do you know if you're getting quality sleep? So you're getting 7 hours, a good solid amount of sleep time. And you wake up refreshed and ready to go. I mean, that's kind of the best way to know if you're getting really good sleep. But sleep trackers can be really helpful. Element is the best for electrolytes. Amazing. I love the Element tea. I use that once a day. It is a high sodium electrolyte. So I like to flavor all my water. And so I don't typically recommend using a ton of those. I wouldn't use 2 or 3 of those a day because, again, it's got 1,000 milligrams of sodium per packet, whereas the Ultima has 50 grams of sodium in it. Trust me, I love sodium, but I'm going to eat a lot in my diet. So I usually use 1 Element a day, and then the rest is Ultima. Love that. Whey protein bothers my stomach. Have you ever used rice protein? Excuse me. And is that more of a carb than a protein? I've never used rice protein. The protein that I use is pea protein, and I love it. It's awesome. So it doesn't have any dairy in it. So low inflammatory. If you want to message me, I'll send you the link. Oh, goodness. Let's see here. I think the citric acid and electrolytes are causing cold sore breakouts. It's possible. There's a lot of, I actually have some electrolytes in my kit that are kind of flavorless, no flavors, just kind of like a simple sodium, potassium, magnesium blend. It kind of tastes like you're drinking ocean water, but you can dilute it out if that's the case. Best supplements for getting rid of inflammation in the body. There are none. It's all about whole food nutrition. Yeah, it's all about sleep. It's all about recovery. It's all about, again, there's no magic pill that's gonna get rid of inflammation. So loading up on high fiber foods, high nutrient foods, high color foods is probably one of the best things that you can do to get rid of inflammation. Cutting out a lot of processed foods, cutting out other inflammatory things like undesirable oils like canola oil, vegetable oil, peanut oil, soybean oil, things like that can kind of create inflammation. Dyes, additives can create a lot of inflammation. MSG, those are the things that I would say it's more about kind of getting rid of something. I like to milli rocking for exercise. See, they're still at it. I love it. Please tell us more about sodium, especially if blood pressure is an interest. Despite taking medication, a lot of frozen foods that are good have so much sodium in them because of the preservative. Please read The Salt Fix is all I've got to say, okay? I don't have the book here with me. I wish I did. It is a game changer, all right? So there is a small segment of the population that is salt sensitive, but what you will learn from this book is that low sodium diets do more harm than high sodium diets. We need salt. big time, okay? And a lot of people following salt restrictions feel and perform so much worse, okay? And then you're taking all these medications, like, I mean, you get on a blood pressure medication and then it has a diuretic in it and it makes you even more sodium depleted, which again, it's like the spiral effect. Not enough salt, more insulin resistance, not enough salt, more issues with your kidneys. So it's like this dogma that we've been taught for decades has absolutely made us worse than made us better. Okay, so here's the deal. Most people need 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams of sodium a day. If you research shows that if we don't cap you, like our body is very good at signaling if you crave salt, you need salt. I mean, your body's telling you need salt. So our body's very good at regulating how much sodium we need. And if we don't put any restrictions, like when we don't give people restrictions, that's where they fall. Most people fall right between 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams of sodium a day. So when you look at like a frozen meal that has 500 milligrams, I mean, it's just one meal. It's not that bad, So again, it's like if you're shooting for 2,000 milligrams of sodium, you're shooting for a low sodium diet. And again, that shouldn't be the goal. Now, so if you have high blood pressure, okay, 50% of you can eat all the salt you want. It will not impact your blood sugar at all. The other 50% potentially will be salt sensitive. And if you eat sodium, you like blow up, you get edema, you start to retain fluid. That's when you've had too much sodium, like you need to cut back. So it's kind of hard. Everyone's going to be different. I think you have to figure out, what your threshold is and what you need. But a healthy person does not need to be restricting sodium, period. All right. So read the Salt Fix if you want to learn more about that, because it's so good. Is 50 grams too much in just one meal? I'm 144 pounds. It depends in terms of what your protein needs are. So this is how I explain protein optimization. And I'm going to answer maybe one or two more questions after this one because I'm at my 30-minute mark. So let's say your protein goal is 120, okay? The most ideal way to consume that protein throughout the day would be 40, 40, 40. Okay, so break it up into 3. Okay, that's ideal. So if your protein goal is 120 grams, then I would say somewhere between 40 to 55 grams per meal is good. All right. But if your protein goal is 90, like you're super petite, you're super tiny, I think everyone needs at least 100 grams of protein, then yours is 30, 30, 30. And it would be 30 to maybe 45 grams per meal. Because there's a point where the body just cannot optimize so much protein, okay? And usually you hear people saying, oh, you can't absorb more than 20 to 30 grams of protein at a meal. Well, that's BS, okay? And I always like to use Shaquille O'Neal as an example, okay? So he's like 300 pounds. He needs probably over 200 grams of protein a day. If he could only optimize 20 grams of protein at each meal to, retain muscle and muscle protein synthesis and maintain a healthy body and tissues and everything, he'd have to eat 10 times a day. He didn't have time to eat 10 times a day. I mean, he's 300 pounds. His ability to optimize 60, 70 grams of protein in one sitting is reasonable. Okay, but someone who weighs, 110 pounds, they're not going to optimize 50 grams of protein in one sitting. So again, know your protein goal and divide it by 3. All right, couple more. Let's see here. Recipes have nutritional value, but don't give the weight of the servings. What do you do? I don't know. I mean, basically, I guess you're saying that you have a recipe that has a nutritional value, but it doesn't give you the weight of the serving. You could weigh out the whole, recipe, whatever it is, and then divide it by the number of servings. And there's your weight. I injured myself 3 times at Orange Theory. I believe in strength training, but doing cardio is good for your heart. Yeah, I mean, it is good. It's good for your heart, okay? Strength training is good for everything else. Are resistance bands just as good as free weights or better to a degree? Absolutely. That is, resistance bands are a great place to start, If you're a beginner, start with resistance bands. But I use resistant bands in my workouts and they burn me up. So I love resistance bands. I do think that there is benefit of overloading the muscle, and you're not going to always get that with just a band. So if you can mix in some weights, be sure to do that. All right, guys, I hope you like this series. Live with Amanda every Thursday. I'm probably going to be here Thursday night, 8 p.m. I feel like that's when most people are available. So jump in fast and ask your questions, because I know there's so many more questions, but I definitely want to keep these kind of short and sweet. But I appreciate you being here. If you love this content, I would be so grateful if you would use the share button and share that to your friends and family. I do need to figure out how to use this question button. Of course, Molly Hunter's friends have figured it out, so that'd be great. But I'll see you next Thursday. Keep focused, keep working towards your goals. Progress, not perfections. The small things are what matter the most. Talk to you later. Bye.